Other cheery news to bring us, Mr. Peterson.
I hesitate to go on. Just let me point out quickly some things that did not get done. And I have listed there. I've got a report here. I won't bother to go back through and read the report for you. You can see that for yourself. But let me just point out with regard to water storage legislation, there wasn't any. There were many attempts at doing that. It didn't happen. A number of reports have come out on the Delta. The key to fixing the Delta is more water, quite frankly. And if there is not more water, the recommended solutions won't work. So I think that we're going to see an attempt at increasing the ability to store water both above ground and underground in the next legislative session. Fire prevention and suppression legislation. There were three major pieces of legislation. I can sum them up. They were aimed at doing several things. One, further regulating what boards of supervisors and city councils can do in those areas that are subject to wildland fire. A number of city councils thought they skated on this one, but the legislation goes about 1 mile into cities which border wildland areas and state fire protected areas. Secondly, this administration wants to increase the participation. That's a euphemism for charging a fee. Increase the participation of property owners in wildland areas in paying for fire protection. And thirdly, regulating the kind of fire protection that cities and counties would have to provide in order to approve subdivisions. Two of those bills were held on the Assembly floor by the author. One bill was vetoed by the governor. They'll be back. I think you can bet on that. Senator Steinberg's SB 375 was a bill basically addressed at greenhouse gas emissions and bringing the counties and cities into the planning and the effectuation of that statute by regulating where residential and commercial developments go in relationship to transportation corridors. I think that's just the beginning in that area of legislation. And while it may not directly impact you in the coming year, I think further legislation will be followed to direct you as to how you will approve those. Finally, we do monitor regulatory agencies. We do pay attention to the ARB and the regulations that they have promulgated and are considering promulgating, ranging all the way from diesel trucks to, may not have heard this one, water user fees. So I think that we are paying a great deal of attention to what is going on there and the regulations that are pending. I'll stop. Happy to answer any more questions. Again, I know you've got time constraints.
Before I move to my colleagues, can you expand on the term water user fees?
Yeah, there's a suggestion in the in trying to regulate development that one of the ways to do that is to impose water use fees, first on residential use and second on agricultural use. It's a very controversial proposal. It's just beginning to be discussed now. We have a little document which we'll send out to you, Mr. Chair, because you're probably interested here in this county, as most other counties are, and what happens to them.
Please.
Yes, we will.
Supervisor Pinchas.
Don, these new air quality rules the legislation's already passed, they're just waiting for the drop dead date, the implementation date. We're in the process, we discussed it 3 weeks ago in Walla, our meeting, about coming up with some sort of a letter resolution to not only oppose it, but at least stall off the implementation date, because it's going to be devastating for all all people with a dump truck, a logging truck, everything. You know, we're a very rural county. We move all of our everything by trucks. You know, it's so. You know, what can your office do? You know, we're in a transition. We have our state legislatures because of term limits moving in and out and whatnot. But this is a really, as far as economic development, it's just a huge issue for this county. You know, we're in a near process, which I'll be reporting to the board, building a $200 million Willits bypass in the near future here. And basically, the way the existing rules, if they stay in place, none of the locals will be able to participate because their equipment won't meet the standards. And so if there was a time lag to where when their old truck wore out, same with Department of Transportation, Howard's sitting here, it's a huge issue. None of Howard's trucks in Department of Transportation will meet the new air quality regs, you know, and so it'll put them off the road. And I don't know where we're going to come up with the money to replace them. You know, where if they'd extend the date another 8 or 10, it would make, as equipment wore out, of course you want the new, better equipment. But, you know, first of all, we don't have a problem with meeting our attainment or anything in this county, and we're being penalized to the point where it'll affect us more than larger counties. So we need to, through the help of your office,